Have you ever thought about opening your own mobile cart or kiosk business? Maybe the facility you manage could establish new revenue by adding coffee, food, or retail services. Cart King International can be the answer to your needs. Cart King is a North American designer and manufacturer of the finest mobile coffee, food, and retail carts and kiosks. Cart King has been working with clients and corporations across North America for 20 years, providing innovative designs, custom manufacturing, and timely delivery. Carts and kiosks are fun, and so are the dozens of designs on our website. Please visit us today at www.cart-king.com or just call us at 1-877-986-7771 and get your sales rolling.
PureSoapFlakes.com, 218-568-2525. Have you ever heard of Castile Soap? Pure Soap Flake Company handcrafts fine soap bars, laundry powder, and concentrated soap flakes using organic vegetable oils from their northern Minnesota facility. Bathe your body and wash your clothes with Pure Soap products that are free of fragrance, GMOs, palm oil, sodium lauryl sulfate, and synthetic additives. Keep it clean, folks. Pure Soap Flake Company products are kind to living creatures and sensitive skin, safe for drains and waterways, and work great in high-efficiency washers and top and front-loading machines. Order today at PureSoapFlakes.com or give them a call, 218-568-2525, 218-568-2525. Pure Soap Flake Company is a proud member of the Handcrafted Soap and Cosmetic Guild.
Tina Helmuth is writing an ongoing series of fact-fiction books that boldly takes on today's most heinous crimes, the abduction, sexual trafficking, and cannibalization of our children. Suffer the Little Children, The Wrath of the Father, and Unbreakable. Deeply researched and mixed with the supernatural, good versus evil makes these thrillers hard to put down, shining a light on the root cause of these crimes and introducing a spiritual solution. Justice will be served. Available at lulu.com in paperback or ebook.
Is your credit in bad shape? Do you need a new car? Ready to buy a new house? You want to rent an apartment? Are you going to apply for a job? Any one of these activities, they're going to ask for a credit report and then check out your credit score. Let Dynamic Solutions 2 erase your negative credit remarks. They offer a life-changing, dynamic financial solution. The finest in fast, professional, affordable credit repair. They have affordable monthly prices. They accept Visa, MasterCard, PayPal options available. You go to www.dynamicsolutions2, that's the number 2.com, or call 424-888-2820. Now, if you enter promo code ED or you mention Ed Opperman, you get a 10% discount. How's that? You get a free consultation, all negative items removed, get back in positive credit position. Dynamic Solutions 2, life-changing dynamic financial solutions.
It's the Opperman Report. Join digital forensic investigator and PI Ed Opperman for an in-depth discussion of conspiracy theories, strategy of New World Order resistance, high-profile court cases in the news, and interviews with expert guests and authors on these topics and more. It's the Opperman Report. And now, here is investigator Ed Opperman.
Okay, welcome to the Opperman Report. I'm your host, private investigator Ed Opperman. And this show is brought to you by emailrevealer.com. You go to emailrevealer.com, you get a copy of my book, How to Become a Successful Private Investigator. You get an autographed copy. I always forget that part. You get an autographed copy of my book, How to Become a Successful Private Investigator. I get so many emails all the time, people asking me, hey, Ed, how do I get into the PI business? Get a copy of my book, How to Become a Successful Private Investigator. How's the audio on here? I don't see. Oh, there we go. Okay. I was getting nervous there for a second. Thought my mic was off because I played the commercial instead of the intro. Hope you didn't notice that. Okay. Also, to at emailrevealer.com, give us an email address. If you suspect that your husband or your wife is cheating on you, your boyfriend, your girlfriend, your gay lover, whoever it is, you give us their email address. We trace it back to online dating websites and we catch them cheating online. Very effective search. We can also find secret email addresses that people have. We can get a name and address from an email address. We can catch cyber stalkers, internet defamation, all kinds of fun stuff. We can even locate people. We got a runaway kid. And when I was on the Dr. Drew show, I was coming home from the airport, And I got an email. Someone watched the show, and they what do you call it? Their son had wandered away from a mental health facility. And so all they had was his email address. And I caught the kid at GameStop. He was there checking on his email at GameStop. We found him there. Also, another time he had a big case here in Las Vegas here where this woman was supposedly abducted. And we found her at a hotel. They're using the computer at the hotel. Anyway, emailrevealer.com. Check it out. Also, adoption investigations. Got a great new deal on adoption investigations. It's a lot cheaper than it used to be. If you have a parent or a child, that you've been estranged from due to adoption process, we can locate that your biological parent, your biological child for you. Quick, too. It's working out very well. I'm very happy with the new adoption investigations. Okay. Don't forget to Archival Revival, our newest sponsor, Archival Revival. You can reach them at archival.revival@gmail.com. And they have a blog spot at archivalrevivalblogspot.com. And what they're doing is they want to purchase classic Christian films. These are the films that they used to play in the Sunday school and the vacation Bible camp in summertime. And these are the old 35 millimeter versions and a 16 millimeter version in those big tin cans like you see in the old movies. And these are from the 40s and the 50s and the 60s. And they want to preserve these films. So they want to purchase these films from you. Archival Revival, archival.revival@gmail.com. They want to purchase it. So go to your church, into the attic, look around there, look in the basement, all the storage areas and all that dusty stuff like that. Put one of those masks on, put some gloves on, and look around there. Then contact archival.revival@gmail.com. And they're going to make you an offer to purchase those films from you. Also to any kind of recordings, record albums or masters. Anything you got, give them a call. archival.revival@gmail.com. And their blog spot is archivalrevival@blogspot.com. Okay. 74 of the Daniel fast. Had a couple of slips there when I was in California. Had a beer and a half, and I had a cup of coffee, and I had a banana muffin. Otherwise, I'm doing pretty good. I've been eating a little bit of rice lately, so it's not 100% Daniel fast. You can eat brown rice, but I've been eating a little Spanish rice. But doing very well. I get up early in the morning, around 3 o'clock in the morning, to watch Morning Joe. And then I'll watch that, and then I'll hop on my bike. Me and Victoria, we got our bikes all tuned up here when we made this move. And right where we live here, it's the Pittman Wash. And they got a hiking trail in the middle of the wash. It's a natural wash, but, if there's a big flood, it's a flood channel. But they got all kind of plants in there, stuff like this. It's a natural wash. And there's a bike trail above it. And then there's a hiking trail below it in the middle of the wash. So I've been biking that. And I'm feeling really, really good, man. And I even go hiking. I haven't hiked to the wash yet. I hike my regular spot where I always hike. So get up at the crack of dawn. Tomorrow's going to be 111, so I'm going to have to get out there. Even all those Sunday bikers will be out there. I'm an everyday biker. So I'll just kick them as I go by them if they're in my way. I just stick my foot out. Okay. If you've been following the show, I got a lot of great stuff that just went up into the members section. We did an episode with Johnny Vedmore from the UK. Really nice guy. In fact, I'm trying to get him to do a show on Awake Radio. And he did a show about Theresa May over there in the UK and how her father was, close with this serial killer, the notorious serial killer in this Catholic hospital over there in the UK. Her father was a reverend or a minister or a pastor. He was a Catholic guy, and then a Catholic priest. And then he got married, and they let him get married. I don't know what's going on with that. Fascinating story. So check that out, Johnny Vedmore, in the members section. Just being uploaded as we speak. Good old Sean Duff from strawmanmusic.com. He's a Canadian. Okay, but we overlooked that. He's a good guy. Oh, in fact, I got to help him out. He asked me for a little favor. I got to take care of that. I forgot all about it. Sorry, Sean. Oh, God, I suck. But what do you call it? Sean Duff is uploading some great news from strawmanmusic.com. He's uploading this some new content. I did an interview yesterday. About 2 years ago, I contacted Samantha Spiegel. who is the heir to the Spiegel catalog fortune. And the reason why I contacted her for an interview is because I had heard that she had gotten a restraining order against John Mark Carr. John Mark Carr was the character over there in Thailand who confessed to murdering John Benet Ramsey. And a lot of people think he's a kook. The guy definitely is a child predator. There's no doubt about that. 100%. He was convicted of possessing child pornography. How this guy's wandering around to begin with is a whole other story. So after 2 years, Samantha Spiegel sees my message to her and contacts me back. And sometimes I say, okay, let's tape tomorrow. Let's tape next week. But I figure, hey, I got her. Let's get her on the phone. And I call her up. And I was on the phone with this girl for about 5 hours. Fascinating young woman, very interesting, very bubbly personality, very talkative person. And she tells me the whole story about her relationship with John Mark Carr. He met her when she was 9 years old. He was a teacher's aide in her school. And then they started their relationship at 16 years old. She finally got away from him at 19. He was trying to convince her to start a cult and to kidnap little kids. Not really kidnap them, but to kind of lure little children into his pedophilia behavior. Anyway. And then she gets involved too with some other serial killers. She becomes like a pen pal with serial killers and stuff like that. She had a very abusive childhood. She was a subject of abuse. And she's hooked me up with some people who we're going to be doing a show in a couple of weeks about a satanic ritual abuse case. It's going to be on a Saturday afternoon. About 3 weeks from now. We need permission from the people involved. The book isn't even released yet. I'm getting guys on the show now. The books aren't even out yet, Got another woman lined up I'm taping with on Monday, who is her uncle is the Zodiac. I tell you, that Zodiac really got around. It's the biggest extended family in history. But her theory is that her uncle is not only the Zodiac, but also, too, was involved in that escape from Alcatraz, that movie that Clint Eastwood was in, that somehow that's involved in the story too. It's kind of a complicated story. She sent me the whole thing. I tried to read through it. Couldn't make much sense out of it. But we'll be talking to her on Monday and see what she has to say. I may be going to film up in Yosemite. Oh, I might be filming too with this Samantha Spiegel. Because we got our guy up there, Doug Canning, up there in the Bay Area, who will film with me. By the way, too, we're in the completion stages of the Hank Harrison stuff. I got the audio tapes. I got exclusive content of audio tapes of Courtney Love from jail and El Duce. I got exclusive audio tape of him. And so we just had them converted to digital. And then when we combining that with the footage we took with Hank Harrison and putting out a little film for you there. And I got some time. And, I thought I had some money, but it turned out that this move was a little more expensive than I thought. I was checking my PayPal account. It's really down. So I was hoping, and I got to get a new laptop too. And I kind of need an office chair here for my office. I need a desk chair. So, but if I can scrape together some bucks, because Victoria's still over there in Boston, I'll head up to the Bay Area and tape with this Samantha Spiegel, whose story is fascinating. And there's more she knows about that I don't think we're ready to talk about yet. And then there's a whole other big thing going on that's huge with her that I can't talk about at all. So a lot of great stuff going on with this. I'm uploading to the members section. Oh, but I'm going to be doing another show about Yosemite too. The Yosemite Carrie Stainer, the Yosemite Park serial killer, with Mike Mooney. Okay, who is the journalist up there in the Modesto area, in that area up there. So I got his phone number and stuff like that. He's agreed to do it. We're going to be putting him on the air soon. And possibly videotaping with him too, because Sanzeri, the PI, Stephen Sanzeri, the private investigator, who wrote that book, Ultimate Prey, about the Yosemite killer. He's up there in the Bay Area. So if we can just pull this off, if we can get some donations to do this, I'll go this week while Victoria's still in Boston, because when she gets back, then I have less time to do things, But if I can get a hold of some bucks, only a couple $100 I only need. So you want to become a member, it's a good time to do it because a lot of good new content going up in the member section. I was interviewed this week by a guy named William Powers. and his friend. Now, it's interesting. It's hysterical. I recorded it, so it's going up in the member section too. Okay. This is great stuff. This is really good stuff. This guy contacts me. He has a blog or a website or something like that, and he says very, very flattering email he sends me. The way to get to me is through flattery, not by insulting, I can tell you that. But anyway, he sends me this very flattering email about how he wants to interview me, you know? And I thought it was for his blog. It was like a press type, a written interview. So okay, great. Let's find a time. We'll do it. And I was busy. I was talking to Reverend Pinckney that day. So then I went over the time. I was late to get back to this poor gentleman here, William Powers. And when I finally get to Powers on Skype, they got a whole setup going on over there. He's got another guy with him. Okay. A co-host. And they got all these they're going to record it. They're going to put it on YouTube, all this kind of stuff. When we did like a 2-hour interview, like 90 minutes, and the whole thing is it's really good stuff because they're not, radio interviews. They're writers, they're journalists. So they're kind of bickering with each other. Don't ask them that. What you already know, so it's worth a listen. I'll tell you that for sure. I haven't listened to it, but I sat through it. It was pretty good. Nice guys, though. Two very nice, good gentlemen. And I tell you, it's interesting because here's a couple of guys that they're talking about how they're big listeners. They listen to the show and they've been listening for a long time, and they don't know anything about all the stuff I've done. They don't know nothing about the Sarah Palin case, congressional investigation. I'm telling it to them, and they're hearing it like it's new for the first time. So I got to tell you, it's amazing. I don't know why people would listen to me. If it wasn't for that I've actually done some things with my life, I don't know why people would bother listening. What, just some guy talking on the radio? Who cares about that? Anyway. Ooh, got some big stuff. Tomorrow morning, 10 a.m. Got to get up early and prepare. I will be interviewing someone who was involved in the archaeological dig at the McMartin preschool. I found online the archaeological report that was done by this guy named Stickle. Okay. And in there it mentions a bunch of names. So I started contacting people and I've been talking to some people off the air, and I got a guest to come on and talk with me on here, and we may be videotaping with this guy too. Got a whole bunch of stuff going on, guys. Okay, we got a lot of big shows coming up, and a lot of big content coming up too. So I have in my possession a document that is totally unpublished, has never been seen by any eyes besides mine, regarding these McMartin tunnels. Okay, so now, and I think there's some discrepancies too, by the way, too. We might be making news here. There's some little bit of discrepancies of what some of these these geologists and stuff like that are saying, and what some other people are saying that conflicts with what's in the report. So I'm going to get all the final details on this tomorrow when I do this interview. And I don't think it's going in the member section. It's probably going to play on Friday night. Okay, I don't know how much time we'll have with this guest tomorrow. It may be like 30 minutes or 40 minutes. I'm not sure. But fascinating stuff. Now, I was reading the report, the official report. And we all know the story about McMartin Preschool, this guy, the Bucky and Peggy Bucky, and, Peggy McMartin and Bucky McMartin, and how they were molesting all these kids there. It's McMartin Preschool. And the kids claimed that they were taken down into tunnels that were near animal cages. Like, think back to now, where do we see animal cages now? Oh, we're Comet Ping Pong Pizza. You see them in the pictures all the time. They got animal cages around there. So whatever connection that is, who knows? So what happened was the parents put a lot of pressure on the DA's office to go and search for these tunnels. And they did a little cursory search. They couldn't find any tunnels, right? And they says, well, there would have to be remove tiles and replace tiles, and we don't think that happened. But they found tiles, extra tiles, like some tile work had just been done in cabinets there at the school. They also found what looked like a tunnel entrance, like there was a indentation in the soil and a discoloration from the two different kinds of soil. So The first one that came out was the DA's staff came out there and they found nothing. Okay, although they did find some kind of anomalies with some ground penetrating radar that they used. And then they brought out 2 other sets of geologists and archaeologists to go and do this dig. And Stickle has a very lengthy report. I'll have it up on the OperaReport.com member section, where he finds the opening. They start digging down there. He says it's an obvious opening. And when they start digging, they find the tunnel, the compacted ground, foot traffic. There's an arch overhead. In one area, they even find a tar paper and plywood roof to the tunnel. So there's a very extensive tunnel underneath the school that was found by these archaeologists. Now, and in the opening, when they first start to go through the tunnel, they find there was a tree root that had been sawn with a hand saw. Okay, and then it was broken off, and they had a tree surgeon testify that he knew that they said it was about 5 years, which jives with the time of when they would have went back and filled in these tunnels. And they also discuss about how elaborate the refilling of these tunnels, this operation of refilling these tunnels, it would have been like 2 dumpsters worth of dirt that they somehow spirited into this school from some direction or whatever, and were able to fill up these tunnels because there's obvious signs of discoloration and debris in these tunnels that don't match what should be there. They also found pottery, one that they call a cauldron, and they found a plate that had stars drawn on it. Okay, and this is in the report. So I want to interview these people and to find out what they're talking about. Describe this to us. Were these pentagrams on these plates? And they said that the plate with the stars on it was drawn by an adult. These weren't children drawing these little stars. So they're lengthening or expanding their travels through these tunnels, they get back out and they say, well, this tunnel must be going underneath the garage and the house next door. So what the guy does is he gets down on his belly and he crawls underneath the house next door to where this tunnel would be coming up, and he sees a cut in the floor of the house that looks up into where there's a brand new bathtub just installed in that house right above where this tunnel would have been. There's also, too, when they're digging through the tunnels, they find a new sewage pipe, like from the toilets in the school, that had brand new fittings on them. Like, let's say you had dug these tunnels, right, and you're going down there and you're going back and forth to bringing these kids back and forth, doing who God knows what, okay? And there's a leak in the sewage pipe. And if it's underground, no one cares if the sewage pipe is leaking. But if you're walking around down there and there's human waste leaking dripping from this thing, you're going to get out new clamps and fix it. So there's brand new shiny clamps down there. They should be 10, 15, 20 years old, but they got brand new shiny clamps under there. There's no sign of them digging from the top down to do this repair. They're down there in a tunnel. And the kids talked about there being a room down there. They found a big giant room that was 6 feet high or 6'5" high, big enough for adults to stand up in. The other parts were like 5, an adult would have had to crouch down a bit in order to walk around through these tunnels. Okay. But there's fascinating evidence about these tunnels. And I just stop and think, okay, because, I totally believe the McMartin preschool story as told by the victims. And I always have, largely due to the work of Alex Constantine, and people like Dave McGowan. And I was just speaking with this guy, Chet Ross, I think his name is, or Ross Cheat, who's a professor who's thoroughly convinced as well. But the thing is, when you get down to, and you really read this report, and I've been talking to these people firsthand involved in this, the idea, okay, fine, there's child abuse going on at a preschool. That's not the first time that's ever happened. But to have such an elaborate operation that the neighbors would be involved, and that they could construct this underground room and this underground tunnel and then have the resources and the wherewithal to have it all filled up and have the prosecutor, be resistant to the family's efforts to search for these tunnels. And even after they had the report at the end, we're going to be getting into this too as well, because a lot of these people are talking about Ted Gunderson. Gunderson was the one who said, well, we don't want to give this report to the DA's office. We don't trust anybody over there. And he didn't release this report until the day of the acquittal. They held a press conference the day these child molesters were acquitted. And that's when he released this report. So that kind of fits in with a lot of my theories and stuff like that going on about Ted Gunderson. Okay, this would be a good time to take a commercial break. All right, because I'm tired already. Been up since 3 a.m. watching Morning Joe. Okay, if you don't like it. All right, let's go over here. Find an ad. I'm exhausted. Okay, we'll be right back after these messages. And now a word from our sponsors.
Are you ready to change your life, but don't know how to start? Is your stress and worries keeping you awake at night? Have you been battling grief, anxiety, or depression all alone? Have you lost touch with your own sense of being or spirituality? Soul Free Therapies offers professional and affordable live video streaming counseling and coaching services from the comfort of your own home. Sessions offered in English, Spanish, and Portuguese. Go to our website at www.soul-free.com and book your first session today.
Hey, check out our brand new sponsor, Dynamic Solutions 2. That's the number 2. They offer a life-changing, dynamic financial solution. The finest in fast, professional, affordable credit repair. Is your credit in bad shape? Do you need a new car? Ready to buy a new house? You want to rent an apartment? Are you going to apply for a job? Any one of these activities, they're going to ask for a credit report and then check out your credit score. Let Dynamic Solutions 2 erase your negative credit remarks. They have affordable monthly prices. They accept Visa, MasterCard, PayPal options available. You go to www.dynamicsolutions, that's the number 2.com, or call 424-888-2820. 424-888-2820. Now, if you enter promo code ED or you mention Ed Opperman, you get a 10% discount. How's that? You get a free consultation, all negative items removed, get back in positive credit position. Dynamic Solutions 2, life-changing dynamic financial solutions. 424-888-2820. Tell them Ed Opperman sent you. You get a 10% discount.
Hey, you, podcast listener. This is your last chance. After this, there is no turning back. Take the blue pill. You wake up in your bed and go back to listening to mundane podcasts that won't challenge your religious beliefs and your so-called truths about reality, the universe, and consciousness. Take the red pill. Subscribe to the Event Horizon podcast, hosted by Mark Anthony Peterson, and he will show you how deep the rabbit hole goes. Event Horizon takes a walk into the paranormal with a splash of conspiracy. It's the podcast that would be born if David Icke and the X-Files had a baby. Subscribe to the Event Horizon podcast by Mark Anthony Peterson on Spreaker, iTunes, Spotify, iHeartRadio, CastBox, Stitcher, or any of your other favorite podcast platforms. Remember, all we are offering is the truth, nothing more.
Have you ever heard of Castile Soap? Pure Soap Flake Company handcrafts fine soap bars, laundry powder, and concentrated soap flakes using organic vegetable oils from their northern Minnesota facility. Bathe your body and wash your clothes with Pure Soap products that are free of fragrance, GMOs, palm oil, sodium lauryl sulfate, and synthetic additives. Safe for drains and waterways, and work great in high-efficiency washers and top and front-loading machines. They have a little promotion going on. Contact them to order some soap. Mention the Opperman Report. You're going to get a free gift. Order today at puresoapflakes.com or give them a call, 218-568-2525, 218-568-2525. Pure Soap Flake Company is a proud member of the Handcrafted Soap and Cosmetic Guild.
It's the Opperman Report. And now, here is investigator Ed Opperman.
Okay, welcome back to the Opperman Report. I'm your host, private investigator Ed Opperman. Oh, boy. The show's brought to you by pscoco.com. Check out pscoco.com. Go to their website. And you can go into the cocoa business with Phoebe Sod over there. Now, right before I left to go to California, and we were doing the move and all that stuff like that, my internet was off for about a week. I had gotten a couple of emails. I was back and forth emailing with this guy. And we actually met up in person here in Vegas during that period of time when I had no internet. And this is a legit guy. He's a legit guy with a professional guy on business card, letterhead. I've seen his website. He's a real guy. He's for real, 100% real. And he's telling me about the Clinton Foundation down in Haiti and how the company that was, you know, how the Clintons ripped off all that earthquake money, right? That there was a company established that was going to produce these little houses in Haiti. And this company, when it's, you can look in the newspaper, you can look up this company. The company's has turned out to be a fraud, you know, and the guy went to prison. The guy who was the president of this company went to prison. Now, one theory I'm hearing is that this guy just may have been the fall guy for this operation of the president, and he wasn't involved in all the other shenanigans that was going on. But what we have heard is that Jeb Bush was on the board of directors of that company, and so was Wesley Clark. And they were in cahoots with the Clinton Foundation to steal all this money. And another person who was involved in this was Barack Obama before he ran for president. So the guy's sending me these emails. He's telling me, we talk on the phone a couple of times. He's telling me all this stuff. He's in town. He wants me to meet me. I go and meet him. As we're talking, he tells me that there's a Pizzagate connection to all this as well. Okay? Now, I'm waiting on that information to come in and to look at it and verify it. And when I see that, we're going to be doing a big show about that. And this is when it makes you understand why no one during the elections there, or the debates and all that stuff was talking about the Clinton Foundation in Haiti, because they're all in on it. The Bushes were in on it too. You know, and right out in the open. The part about this guy stealing, this guy got caught stealing the money. Jeb Bush was one on the guy's board of directors. Not a word. Nobody mentions a word about it. So there's a Pizzagate connection to this too as well. Oh, and the reason why this is all now I'm more convinced about this, because he kept telling me that it was going to be on this TV show called American Greed, right? Because he says, watch the show. The show's going to be coming on. And the show just came on a couple of days ago, which brought this back to my memory. And, you know, so this is, I saw the whole thing. This is a legit story here. But they're not talking about the Pizzagate connection. And they're trying to say that Bush and Wesley Clark and Obama were just duped. They were just, they had no idea what was going on. It was all this guy. And the story of this guy who was the CEO of the company too, they even show his deposition. And they're asking him, how much money does the company make? How much money did the company make last year? And he's saying, I don't know anything. Okay. They found this guy down in Central America. He had a little computer business, buying and selling old computers. And next thing you know, he's in charge of all these big multi-million-dollar companies. And now he's in prison. I think he's the fall guy. Anyway, that's the story that I'm getting. So we're going to be talking about that soon. If there's a little if in this, because I'm being told that there's a Pizzagate connection to this, and I don't want to repeat what he's telling me, but it's very interesting stuff. Okay. Hey, is this night over yet? Can I get out of here yet? Oh, God. Hey, let's see. Okay, let's get into this. Now, we're talking about, it's gone crazy. This whole thing with these Russians visiting Donald Trump Jr., And over there at the Trump Tower in Manhattan, when they got this email, and in the headline of the emails is Russian Clinton, then we find out today that there's 2 additional Russians that were in the room. So if a lot of people tell me they don't watch the news and they only get their news from here just for me repeating what's in the news. So, but we can't devote the whole show to what that story is. But just the abbreviated version is that Donald Trump Jr. was contacted by the guy in Russia is known as the Russian Donald Trump. And Trump went over there to do a business deal with this guy. They were going to build a building over there together. That deal never went through. He was involved in getting the Miss America pageant put on in Russia. So all that, the Trumps have this relationship with this Russian guy, and this guy, his son is like a pop star over there. And there's all these connections back and forth between Donald Trump Jr. and the pop star, and there's some crazy character who's this promoter for the pop star. All these kind of grifters and guys and hangers on that you run into in life. And this pretty much seals the case, okay? That Donald Trump Jr. gets an email saying, hey, the Russian government has information against the Clintons and about the Clintons doing dirty business with the Russians, and they want to give you this. And Donald Trump Jr. says, oh, boy, this is great. So he says, I love it. Let's have a meeting. And Paul Manafort's there, and the young wonder boy, what's his name, Jared Kushner, he's there. And, it's like a clown car with all these Russians. There are like 6 Russians, 3 or 4 Russians in there, packed into this little tiny office. Anyway. So this is pretty much the smoking gun. And up until now, everyone's saying, well, where's the proof that there was any kind of collusion with the Russians? Well, here it is. We got the email that the Russian government wants to help you to take down the Clintons. And he says, I love it. Okay. And I'm paraphrasing here. You can look up the phrases yourself, and you can make every kind of excuse you can get bent over backwards. Okay, I'm going to get to all that. Now, all the people who want to tell me that, there's still nothing there. Trust me, there's something there. And the thing is, by the way, did I mention I'm having Ted Rubenstein on tomorrow? Yeah, Ted Rubenstein's coming on tomorrow, too, to talk about the murder of Don Bowles, who was a reporter in Arizona. And then I'm doing a show tomorrow, too, about the attack on the USS Liberty. So it's a 2-part show tomorrow at 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time on American Freedom Radio and all the stations you hear me on right now. What do you call it? So that's tomorrow. By the way, I was meant to do a whole segment. I didn't put it in my notes. But Ted Rubenstein, if you don't know if you don't know who he is, guy with Mae Brussels and Larry Flint and Dave Emery. This guy's a legend in this kind of business and doing this kind of work. Very sober guy, very thoughtful guy, very really good researcher. He's constantly researching and reading books. He orders books on Amazon. I got to get him to use my Amazon affiliate link so I got a commission on his books, because the guy buys books. He's a crazy book buyer. But here's a guy I was thinking, we should have a guy like this. I'm trying to get him to do a show. He doesn't cooperate with me. But if we could get him to teach a class. We should have him teach a class on how to be a conspiracy theory researcher. Do like a webinar for these young guys out there who want to do this, but they have no background, they have no experience, they have no experience in life, but they want to go on YouTube. And the guy tells me, hey, I got a guy, he sends me a link this week. He says, Ed, do a show like this and you won't worry about subscribers. This is worth it. And I click on the link like an idiot. And there's some kid, long-haired kid with a leather jacket and no shirt on, going on and on and on about how there's nothing about the Russians. It's all, I think it was saying there's Jews or something. I don't know what it was. And this is what you should be doing. Okay. No, what we need is more guys like Ted Rubenstein, teaching these kids how to use wisdom, and then how to be cautious in your reporting and be careful and check your sources, and double check other things. This is what we need, man. Because obviously we have so many people just running around just doing whatever they want. But anyway, back to this whole thing. So here we have, and now it's all blown up that the Trump campaign is in trouble, big trouble, by the way. because they went to the Russians for opposition research in their campaign. Now, what I'm trying to understand is, and I'm part of a PI group. I'm part of several PI groups, but we have a small group of experienced guys, and there's a couple of lawyers in there too as well. It's an email loop, that we just email each other, what's going on in this. And especially when I had my Sarah Palin case, I could go to these guys for advice, and it was very helpful to me at that time in my life. And now we can go to each other for advice. And I even went to them and I with this question. And then I tried to post it on Facebook too, and that was just hopeless. But I went to these guys who I respect, and I says, well, how come, it's unlawful for the Trump campaign to meet with this Russian lawyer and these Russians for opposition research, but that the never Trump Republicans and then the Clintons could hire Christopher Steele, the private investigator over there in the UK, who was former British intelligence. First of all, he's still a foreign, government. He's still a foreign agent, but also too, to do opposition research against Trump, when all his sources openly, it's in his report, were these Russian oligarchs and these Russian gangsters and his sources in Russia. It's pretty much the same thing. That they're also using foreign intelligence agencies and information from Russian sources as their opposition research. What's the difference? What's the difference between Trump going to a Russian to get dirt on Clinton, or Clinton going to a Russian through an intermediary to get dirt on Trump? To me, it's the same thing. And I have a need to know this because I have done a little bit of opposition research, and it's something I want to expand in my business. I was involved in a mayoral race. It wasn't here in Nevada. It was out of state. I didn't like the other candidate, so I helped the candidate that I did like with some opposition research. It was mostly unpaid. I just worked for expenses. But now, you're telling me that if a campaign hires me, I guess you have to look in the election laws, FEC, you have to really know this stuff, because the people that are involved in these, like Christine Kramer and stuff like that, I had on my show, they really know all the rules, for these campaign election stuff. They're obsessed with it because there's so many rules and you can get in trouble. The Ron Paul campaign manager, they went to prison, The woman who stole the George W. Bush debate prep book, she went to prison for a year. So all these people running around saying that, well, there's nothing here, and they don't have a case, and then there's really no crime, and they got to prove this, and they got to prove it. I hear that all the time, and you know who I hear that from? Defendants. I hear that from guys in jail through that glass when I'm interviewing guys in jail. Okay. I hear that so many times. They got no case. They got no case. I hear that all the time from people that have already been arrested or about to be convicted. And it's not the way to think and operate. When you think they got no case, you're living in a dream. And this is pretty much what's going on here with all these Trump supporters who think that there's nothing here. I'm telling you, there's something here. And the thing is, too, is then what people will say, well, Ed, because you don't like Trump. That doesn't mean I'm going to lie to you, man. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm reporting what I think and what I know from my life experience. I'm not going to come on here and make stuff up. And that just goes to show you that anyone that would say that, oh, well, you're just saying that because you hate Trump, that means that person, because he likes Trump, is willing to lie. If they think it's okay, if they assume that people lie in order to support a candidate they like or dislike, then that's what they're doing. Right? You know what I mean? So anybody that comes to me and accuses me of that, right away, that's what you're doing. Because I know I'm not doing it. But if you think that's okay to do and that's a normal thing to do, like it's a standard procedure, it's because you're doing it. By the way, too, I'm not even going to tell you that part. I'm not going to tell you that part. Okay. But you know how I've been talking about how I think that Trump used some of my shows as opposition research? That's, I'm almost convinced. Okay. I'm hearing some things too along those lines. And by the way, too, that's also too, because now I got that information from a woman who's a Haitian national, right? So that's the same kind of thing. That's, you know, information's come from foreign national. You know, I could get roped in this whole thing. But what I could tell you, but my personal firsthand experience, unlike people who just come on the air and just make stuff up and have theories, you know, whatever. But from my personal firsthand life's experience in my investigation of Todd Palin and Sarah Palin, and during that year-long investigation went on with that, and what I witnessed with my own eyes of foreign intelligence agencies' interest and infiltration in the U.S. Political elections. When I was working on this, and this was even before, like, my name was in the press or anybody knew this thing, you know, was it was pretty much silence in the press. But when my name came out and when we were involved in motions against the judge to get evidence released and stuff like that, and became known that the evidence was coming to my office, you know, for people who don't know, what happened was I was contacted. My client was a massage therapist there in Alaska, and she reported to me that she was having a relationship with Todd Palin, that he was going there for massages and a happy ending. Then he started sending other people to her. He was referring people to her, and she would document the activity with these people and report back to him. She was arrested. She sold her story to the National Enquirer. Then the National Enquirer wouldn't pay her because the Anchorage police, the chief of police, said that, well, we investigated all this and there's nothing there. Turns out later on, he never investigated anything. And he later admitted that the Sarah Palin's attorney wrote that press release and he just put it out on his stationery, that they found nothing. And ultimately what happened was the day that we finally got this, and they tried to destroy the evidence, they tried to keep it from us. When we finally got it, the day it arrived at my office, Sarah Palin announced that she was not going to run for president and even referred to my client. Later on, this expanded into a congressional investigation regarding the Secret Service misbehavior with that brothel down there in Colombia, because my client in Alaska says, I know that guy. He worked for Sarah Palin. He did the same thing to me. So, but during the course of that's the Sarah Palin story in a nutshell. It's a good 40-minute story if I tell all the details, because my house was broken into, my office was broken into. You know, it was a whole big thing. Went on my tires. What they did was they over tightened. The lug nuts on my tires were snapping off as I was driving. Every tire, you know, it happens once, twice, you know, but every tire they were snapping off. Anyway, what do you call it? Anyway, during that year-long investigation, I was infiltrated and approached and infiltrated by foreign intelligence assets. People, one was from the Israeli government, one was from the Chinese government, and it was Israeli and Chinese. Let me think. Anybody else? Those are the two big ones. Oh, there was another one too that wasn't from a foreign government, but it was some type of. She was involved with the Freemasons. She was heavily a Freemason type, and she really wormed her way into my life. Anyway. One thing they tried to get me to do, at least the Chinese one, was she tried to get me to commit crimes. She was trying to get me to commit some crimes with her in order to then they would have blackmail influence over me. So now I've experienced this firsthand, okay, being involved in the presidential, you know, as an adjutant in a presidential election, and being infiltrated by foreign intelligence agencies trying to influence my activity in these things. So, but I saw them coming, you know, and I was able to identify them and back away and cover my ass. Whereas these Trumps are unable to do this. They went running head toward it. They didn't, either they were so dumb they didn't see it come. They didn't have the savvy and the experience. And you look at this kid Kushner, he's a kid. You know, and Trump Jr. too as a kid. And what are these kids? They're pampered kids who their fathers made all their money, and these kids went into the family business and had everything paved for them. They're college educated. These kids don't have to work their way up from the street. They're not street savvy. They're trust fund babies. I was lucky because I was on guard and I was seasoned enough to be suspicious and on guard and careful not to fall into a trap. Okay? But these kids were not. And if you look at them right now, they've totally fallen into a trap and they've been infiltrated and manipulated. We see that Trump has made some concessions in the Republican platform. You know, everything we know now, okay, about this meeting with Trump and Trump Jr. and these Russians, Putin's known this all along. So when Putin's coming out saying, well, I don't know nothing, and Trump is saying, well, Trump's known about this email that's this smoking gun. He's known about this for weeks. He's been lying about it for weeks. If there's nothing there, there'd be no reason for these people to be lying, right? They just tell us what's going on. They got caught with their hand in the cookie jar, and now they're running scared. And one of the main reasons is that they just don't have the savvy and the experience and the capabilities. Trump's a con man. Conned his way into this office. He's way over his head, and he can't handle it. He just can't do it. You know, and that's just my observation on the kid. Whether I hate Trump or I hate his politics, being a racist and all that, whether I hate him being a 1% scum, you know, whether I hate him for that or not, I can still look at these facts and see them for facts. Okay? And if you never heard me before, trust me, I hate the Clintons even more than I hate Trump. And Trump's used my opposition stuff on the Clintons. Trust me, look back on my shows. Google Ed Opperman Clinton. You'll see all the anti-Clinton stuff I've done. I'm not a Clinton. I'm not a Democrat. You know, give me a break. Hey. If only Kushner and Trump Jr. had a guy like Ted Rubenstein in their life, okay, to teach them and to give them these years of experience and advice like that, they wouldn't have fallen into this trap. And that should be kind of like the moral of the story here. Older guys like us, we need to take these young kids under their wing and teach them and then kind of smack them in the head every now and then when they're doing something stupid. Okay, listen, if you liked today's shows, I did a nice show with Reverend Pinckney. I was very happy when I did that show. It was very encouraging to me. I enjoyed the show with, what's his name there, Nico House. And I hope people took note of how grateful Nico House was in the beginning of the interview and how he talked about all the stuff, you know, where he's gotten to today and how this show and this platform has helped him get to there. Okay, I hope you're taking note of this. Okay, this is what we're trying to do here. And in order to do these kind of things, we need your support. I'd love to get out there and film a couple of shows, a couple of documentaries in the next 6 days before Victoria comes back and before we have to start taking her to school back and forth every day. I still got a little bit of time here in the summer to get some stuff done this summer. But this move was a huge expense. We got to know, you know, if you want to become a member, okay, I can't give you a break on the membership. Okay, it's $74 for a year. But if you can do that, you know, and send it by PayPal, I can get some stuff done this week. If you want to send a donation, I can get some stuff done this week. It would be a big deal. We can really get a lot of stuff done here. If only, man. Look what I'm doing on a shoestring. If we only had some money. You want to sponsor the show? I'll give you great deals on that. And that I can negotiate with you. You contact me directly at oppermanreport@gmail.com. I can negotiate with you on a sponsorship. You know, reading your ads on the show, even if you just want a shout out, you know, I'll give you a good deal on that right now because we've got to make some money if I want to get something done this summer. Okay. My laptop's broken. House is coming along great. The house looks great. I love this. I love the new neighborhood. I go biking every morning. All that stuff is going great. Okay. But if we're really going to accomplish something with what we're doing here, you know, long term, I need a staff. I need people, you know, working here, helping me here, you know, here in my office, not 100 miles away, like Sean Duffy's great, but he's all the way over there. We can't sit next to each other and look at the screen together, Thank God for Sean Duffy, strongmanmusic.com, and thank God for all the people who help and help now, what they do for me. Without you, we'd be in big trouble. But if I just had someone here, man, some $10 an hour, maybe, 15 hours a week, to come here and help me out, man, oh my God, what we could be getting done. Look what we've done with nothing when I was in the middle of a custody battle, getting evicted, with no car, walking back and forth with my kids to school every day. Look what we've done under those conditions. If we just had a little bit of support here, not just, what we're doing now, we could be doing 10 times more. Okay. And really getting some good quality content out there, getting some film content out there. Like I got some books in me I want to get out. Going to be 55 years old in September. I only got another 20 years left of me, man. I'm working for you as hard as I can. But we need financial support. We need some cash to come in here. So you can PayPal me, operaminreport@gmail.com, become a member at operaminreport.com. Then you get all that extra content. I'm going to be putting too. I was going scanning through some stuff today. Got a whole bunch of Son of Sam documents, images, pictures, and all kind of stuff like that. I'm going to put all that in the member section. This new document I got on the McMartin Preschool, I'm putting that in there. And a thing, too, that Ted Rubenstein sent me to him about Gary, I forget the guy's name, the guy that just ran on the Libertarian Party, being involved with Khashoggi and all kind of stuff. I'm going to put that document up there, too, as well. So, operaminreport.com is the member section. Sign up tonight, please. And let's get something going here. Coming up next is Pierce Redmond. It's about the Manchester bombings over there. So, talk to you soon. Good night. And now a word from our sponsors, emailrevealer.com. People ask me all the time, hey, Ed, are you still a private investigator? I sure am. Go to emailrevealer.com. We handle adoption investigations, infidelity investigations, where you give us your spouse's email address. We trace it back to online dating websites, catch them cheating online. Email tracing, locate or identify somebody from as little as an anonymous email address. Someone owe you money? Back child support? We can find that deadbeat. Locate his hidden assets. Locate his hidden bank accounts, find his current place of employment, and even assist you in obtaining a judgment and recover that judgment for you. Emailrevealer.com, digital forensics, computer forensics, cell phone forensics, recover deleted text messages, create a report that you can use in court. Emailrevealer.com, 800-572-9762.
Have you ever thought about opening your own mobile cart or kiosk business? Maybe the facility you manage could establish new revenue by adding coffee, food, or retail services. Cart King International can be the answer to your needs. Cart King is a North American designer and manufacturer of the finest mobile coffee, food, and retail carts and kiosks. Cart King has been working with clients and corporations across North America for 20 years, providing innovative designs, custom manufacturing, and timely delivery. Carts and kiosks are fun, and so are the dozens of designs on our website. Please visit us today at www.cart-king.com or just call us at 1-877-986-7771 and get your sales rolling.
Have you ever heard of Castile Soap? Pure Soap Flake Company handcrafts fine soap bars, laundry powder, and concentrated soap flakes using organic vegetable oils from their northern Minnesota facility. Bathe your body and wash your clothes with pure soap products that are free of fragrance, GMOs, palm oil, sodium lauryl sulfate, and synthetic additives. Safe for drains and waterways, and work great in high-efficiency washers and top and front-loading machines. They have a little promotion going on. Contact them to order some soap. Mention the Opperman Report. You're going to get a free gift. Order today at puresoapflakes.com or give them a call, 218-568-2525, 218-568-2525. Pure Soap Flake Company is a proud member of the Handcrafted Soap and Cosmetic Guild.
Are you ready to change your life, but don't know how to start? Is your stress and worries keeping you awake at night? Have you been battling grief, anxiety, or depression all alone? Have you lost touch with your own sense of being or spirituality? Soul Free Therapies offers professional and affordable live video streaming counseling and coaching services from the comfort of your own home. Sessions offered in English, Spanish, and Portuguese. Go to our website at www.soul-free.com and book your first session today.
Is your credit in bad shape? Do you need a new car? Ready to buy a new house? You want to rent an apartment? Are you going to apply for a job? Any one of these activities, they're going to ask for a credit report and then check out your credit score. Let Dynamic Solutions 2 erase your negative credit remarks. They offer a life-changing, dynamic financial solution. The finest in fast, professional, affordable credit repair. They have affordable monthly prices. They accept Visa, MasterCard, PayPal options available. You go to www.dynamicsolutions2, that's the number 2.com, or call 424-888-2820. Now, if you enter promo code ED or you mention Ed Opperman, you get a 10% discount. How's that? You get a free consultation, all negative items removed, get back in positive credit position. Dynamic Solutions 2, life-changing dynamic financial solutions.
Hey you, podcast listener, this is your last chance. After this, there is no turning back. Take the blue pill. You wake up in your bed and go back to listening to mundane podcasts that won't challenge your religious beliefs and your so-called truths about reality, the universe, and consciousness. Take the red pill. Subscribe to the Event Horizon podcast, hosted by Mark Anthony Peterson, and he will show you how deep the rabbit hole goes. Event Horizon takes a walk into the paranormal with a splash of conspiracy. It's the podcast that would be born if David Icke and the X-Files had a baby. Subscribe to the Event Horizon podcast by Mark Anthony Peterson on Spreaker, iTunes, Spotify, iHeartRadio, CastBox, Stitcher, or any of your other favorite podcast platforms. Remember, all we are offering is the truth, nothing more.